In a small town nestled between rolling green hills, there lived a young man named Adil. He had big dreams but often found himself failing in whatever he attempted. From school exams to business ventures, nothing seemed to work in his favor. His friends laughed at him, and even his family began losing faith in his abilities. Adil had always dreamed of becoming a successful entrepreneur. He believed in himself, but each failed attempt pushed him further into self-doubt. His first business was a small bookstore. He loved books and thought that opening a bookstore in his town would be a great idea. However, he failed to consider that most people preferred digital books or bought from bigger stores. Within a year, his bookstore closed, leaving him with a pile of debt. Disheartened but not broken, Adil decided to try something new. This time, he opened a small cafe, hoping to attract students and office workers. He put all his savings into the business, decorating the cafe with warm lights and comfortable seating. But he made a crucial mistake: he didn't research the market well. A bigger and more established cafe was already operating nearby. Within months, Adil was forced to shut down his second business as well. His failures became the talk of the town. Some called him unlucky, while others said he lacked business sense. Even his closest friends started advising him to get a regular job instead of chasing impossible dreams. Adil felt humiliated and considered giving up. One evening, as he sat alone by the river, staring at his reflection in the water, he wondered if he was truly a failure. That's when an old man, who often fed birds by the river, approached him. "You look troubled, young man," the old man said kindly. Adil sighed. "I've failed so many times. Maybe I'm not meant to succeed." The old man smiled and picked up a small pebble. "Do you see this pebble? If I throw it into the river, will it float?" Adil shook his head. "No, it will sink." "And what about this piece of wood?" The old man picked up a dry twig. "It will float," Adil answered. The old man tossed both into the river. As expected, the pebble sank, and the twig floated. "Do you know why the wood floats while the stone sinks?" the old man asked. "Because the wood is lighter?" Adil guessed. "Exactly," the old man said. "But also because it is built differently. Success is like that. If you keep carrying the weight of failure and doubt, you'll sink. But if you learn to adapt, you'll float." Adil thought deeply about the old man's words. Maybe his failures weren't because he was incapable. Maybe he simply needed to learn from them instead of letting them weigh him down. That night, he sat down and wrote about everything he had learned from his past mistakes. He realized he had been starting businesses without proper research. He had been following his passions but had ignored the needs of the market. Determined to try again, Adil decided to start a small online business this time. He researched trending products and found that handmade, eco-friendly products were in demand. He started making biodegradable packaging materials and sold them online. Unlike before, this time he made sure to understand his customers' needs. The beginning was slow, and Adil faced challenges, but he didn't give up. He adapted, improved, and listened to feedback. Soon, his eco-friendly products gained popularity. Within a year, he had a steady stream of customers. As his business grew, the same people who once laughed at him started admiring him. They saw his persistence and hard work pay off. His family, once doubtful, now stood proudly beside him. One day, Adil revisited the river where he had met the old man. He found him feeding the birds as usual. "You were right," Adil said with a smile. "I learned how to float." The old man chuckled. "You were never meant to sink, my boy. You just needed to find the right way to swim." Adil's journey from failure to success taught him a valuable lesson: failure is not the end. It is just a stepping stone to something greater. And those who learn from their failures, instead of being weighed down by them, always find their way to success.